Hello everybody, my name is Lynette and welcome to my garden. Today is September 16th and my project for today is to take some Coleus cuttings. I bought some beautiful Coleus this year. I love their colorful leaves. Unfortunately, they are not cold hardy. In fact, the first frost is going to wipe them right out. So I thought if I take some cuttings, I may be able to overwinter them in my basement. Then I won't have to buy Coleus next year. So come along as I show you how I'm going to take some cuttings. Taking cuttings can't be easier. You need your pruners and you need some water. And we get in here and we're just going to clip the Coleus. I'm not going to worry too much about where I clip at this point. And clean off some of that and then just drop it in my water. So you want to get a couple stems of whatever plants you want. Make sure you get a couple of each variety in case some don't root. It's pretty green. And let's see. This one. And there we go. Let's take them into the kitchen and get them ready. Coleus has to be one of the easiest plants there is to root out there. As we did out in the garden, we stripped all the leaves and stems off. I'm going to take that one off too, because this is where we want to put it in the water. We do not want these leaves up here. We do not want those sitting in the water. Now, for a container, you can use a basic container. This is a seltzer that I just cut open. Or if you want to get fancy and you want to use crystal, you can do that. But the plants don't care what they root in. You're basically going to fill your container with some water and plop your stem in. And you can see there that the stem is in the water, but not the leaves, because you don't want them in. They'll probably start to rot. So you just want to leave the stem in because the roots are going to form along the stem. And you're going to do that with all of them. Again, this one's kind of low, so I'm going to take that off. And that just goes in the water. That's a little long, so I'm going to cut that back a little bit. So we have a node there and a node there. Stick that in the water. That looks good. This one, again, I'm going to remove this one. This isn't rocket science. Just stick that in there. Let's fill up another one. Take that. That one's pretty good and clean, so that just goes in the water. This one, I'm going to remove these two. The other thing you might want to look for is to see if there are any buds starting to form at the top. You want to take those off. So if there's any buds there of flowers starting to form, that's a little tall. So I'm going to cut that one down a little bit and stick that in just like that. And that's all it takes. This is a great project to do with kids, especially because you'll be able to see the roots start to form in the water, so the kids will love to see that. And then I'm just going to set them up here in my windowsill. That way I can keep an eye on them to make sure that the water level stays good for them. Now, another plant that's pretty easy to root from cuttings is Wandering Jew. And I have one right over here that we're going to take some cuttings from. We are going to do the same thing. We're going to remove, this is the top, we're going to remove some stems along there. Just shorten that stem a little bit. Stick that in the water. This is a super easy way to create new plants that you can share with your friends. I'm going to grab a piece of Wandering Jew from outside. Hold on. This is a plant that I have outside. I'm going to take a cutting from. You can see I cut it. We're going to strip away the leaves. And we're going to stick that in the water. But isn't the color on that beautiful? That's all you need to do. Give it some sunshine, watch the water level, make sure it doesn't dry out, and that's it. So you may be saying, well, Lynette, that's great. I've got these cuttings in water, but what do I do when they root? Well, don't worry, I got you covered, because 3 weeks ago I took some cuttings and now I'm going to show you how I went about potting them up. 3 weeks ago I took cuttings and I've had them sitting on my kitchen window and they're now ready to be potted up. So let's take a look at these roots. You can see they've rooted very nicely, some better than others. But we're going to put them in the soil so they can continue to grow. I have a container here. I'm not overly worried about what the container looks like. These are going to go down in the basement under grow lights, so I'm not looking for pretty pots that I might want in the house. Basically, we're just going to fill it up with some good potting mix. Sprinkle in a little fertilizer here and there. Then what I like to do is take a screwdriver and poke a hole down in the soil, just like this. And I can take my cutting. I've got to go a little deeper than that. Actually, I could cut this off. There's no roots down on this part of the stem, so I really don't need that. And then we're just going to tuck that right down in. Just like that. And we're going to do the next one. Stick it right straight down in, tuck it in, firm it into place. Trim off this extra stem. Stick that right down in, firm it in. Then with this one, go a little bit deeper. Stick it right in just like that. Then we're going to give them a good drink of water. And I'm going to keep these up on the shaded porch because their roots haven't established enough to put them in the full sun. Not that Coleus always likes full sun, but just until they get better established. And then once it gets too cold, I'm going to take them down in the basement and I'm going to keep them under grow lights along with my Boston ferns. These are some of the cuttings from a couple weeks ago that I potted up earlier today. I want to explain something to you, so I want to zoom in. Hopefully we can do this slowly without making anybody sick. I think that's pretty good there. So when I'm putting these in my basement, I am not after a big, beautiful, bushy plant. I really want to keep it small. What I'm hoping to get is many branches of it, because if I can get these to overwinter okay, I'm going to take cuttings in the spring and hopefully I can do a flat of them and I will have many different ones, so I'll have lots of Coleus next year. So to make sure that it branches really well, I'm going to be going in and pinching it back. And you can see, hopefully you can see in there, I just pinched and there are some extra little leaves coming up, and that's where it will branch. Let me try and zoom in on that. Oops, sorry about that. Can you see all these little leaves right here? That's going to turn into branching, and that's what I want, because again, I'm not looking for great big plants here. I am just looking for some branching so that I can take cuttings in the spring as well. So you can do cuttings on many different types of plants, but I just thought I'd show you Coleus because it's one of the easiest ones, and if you are new to this, this is a great way to start and gain some confidence. So I hope you enjoyed this little video on Coleus cutting, and hopefully you will come back and see what happens to them in the spring. So be sure you like and subscribe so I can keep making more videos. Take care. Bye-bye.